In today's Modesta Mahiga 360 Leadership Podcast, we're going to talk about finding the courage to pivot. I'm joined by my dear friend and an incredible global leader, Emelda Mwamanga, who is a CEO, talk show host, publisher, and soon to release her book, Finding My Voice. Emelda, welcome.
Wow. Thank you, Modesta. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be on your platform.
I am so thrilled to have you and cannot wait for this conversation. You know, Emelda, you're known across the globe as a leader that empowers women through Bang magazine, which is Believe and Never Give Up.
Mm-hmm.
And you've always shined a light on other women's stories, both in Bang magazine and Dare to Dream, the events that you've done in partnership with Vital Voices, which, for those that don't know, is an empowerment organization that's been co-founded by Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
Now, Emelda, in recent years, you featured on TV sharing your story. And the most recent of all, you published and launched Pivoting in Heels. By the way, congratulations for that.
Thank you so much. It's been 10 days now since we launched the book. So thankful to God because I felt like truly the things that, you know, it's a whole lot of stories. It's a show on its own if I'm to tell you how it took us to put up that book. But everything was possible because of God's hand, really. We were able to sit with the president to put the forward for the book. It's incredible. For me, it's something that I never dreamt of.
Now, for those who may not know, Pivoting in Heels is a coffee table collection of stories of notable Tanzanian women leaders who had the courage to pivot during the pandemic. And as Emelda just said, she, by the grace of God, had Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, the president of the United Republic of Tanzania, write the foreword for Pivoting in Heels. Now, Emelda, the inspiration behind Pivoting in Heels has actually been your own courageous decision to pivot during crisis. You've always highlighted other women's stories, but tell me your story behind Pivoting in Heels. Why did you, actually, what happened, and how did you come to decide to pivot in heels?
Wow. So maybe we start from the character. I'd say I believe I am bold. I am daring.
Mm-hmm.
I believe God has given me basically courage to be strong and to see God. So as you said, you brought it so well. Few years, I thought I just reached my rock bottom. I felt like everything, my dreams are shattered. I was ashamed of myself because, you know, sometimes we go through issues and you start blaming yourself, especially women, and the issues such as broken marriages and stuff. So sometimes even if the man is the one to blame, you start blaming yourself that, oh my God, how can I be a good leader if I fail my own home? So it was killing me inside because first of all, I come from a family that there is no divorces. Most of my aunts, my uncles, and my family, I've not seen divorces from the family. So I was the child who came out and have a failed marriage. And for me, that one was a shame for me. I felt like everything had shattered. And it took me some time, really. I was at the rock bottom and I was trying to figure out what's next for me. Well, one thing is Modesta, I started to look for God's purpose in my life. And that moment, I really turned my life to God and I started letting God to basically remind me of what he made me be. So at one point of time, I knew if it's not for God, I'm done. You know, there's no future. There's no tomorrow. I'm a loser. Husband left me and the public knows. And I have one child who I lost custody because of bribes and a lot of things. But I really thank God. You know, I would tell this to every woman who is going through challenges in life, be it marriage or in anything. Um, Look for God, because God has your story. Before you were born, He knew you and He knows what next for you. So for me, my commitment, my when I surrendered and I wanted God to to remind me of who I am, I felt and I see the hand of God, because I kept on, God was talking to me all this time, like, you are not done. You have to stand up for women. You have to help other women. And at one point of time when I was praying and really asking God, and I said, God, I'm a failure. I failed my marriage. So how can I be a leader to other women? What can I tell other women? And God continued reminding me that you are a strong woman, you have a platform, and you are going to stand up so that others can be healed. And that is what made me or give me strength to pivot, to now think that, okay, fine, this is what made me start thinking of coming up with a book, finding my voice, because at one point of time I felt like I lost my voice. And I've seen the hand of God, because even the concept of pivoting and heals, it wasn't it came. I was talking to a friend of mine who's a publisher of True Love magazine in Nairobi, and she told me, like, Emelda, I've just finished publishing a book called Pivoting in Heels Kenya, and it was it was received well, and companies gave her a lot of money for it. And she talked about how leaders, female leaders, pivot during the pandemic, and how some of these leaders came up with different business ideas and used technology and things like that to make their business thrive. So when she told me of the book that she did in Kenya, I told her, I think I could have the same book in Tanzania. So while I was already started putting up, finding my voice, I put a hold on it to say that let me come up with Pivoting and Heals Tanzania first, and then I'll continue with my other book. So
Wow. Emelda, you kept on saying, God reminded me. God reminded me. Did there come a time when you actually forgot? Right? You're the dream lady. You're the dare to dream lady. For those who don't know, the first time ever that we met and connected is when she hosted one of these Vital Voices mentorship walks, and the event is called Dare to Dream, and I got to speak at that event, and that's when we met and our friendship kindled. So she has been the woman for decades now, really encouraging, empowering, and igniting people in their dreams. And she's saying, God reminded me, as if you forgot. Was there a time you forgot and truly didn't believe that who you are and who you've always been, and the way we look up to you and all the things you've done? Was there really a time when you thought, maybe that's my dream is not valid anymore?
circumstances, things in life can make you forget your dream. You might be focused and you really want to do certain things, but things happens in life and it weakens you. You feel like you are no longer strong enough to pursue the dream that you had. So I felt that way. I felt like, oh my God, now I felt like I'm a laughing stock. People who were thinking that, oh, that the publisher of magazine doing this and this, look at her now. Her husband left her, and to me it was a slap on my face. I wish people knew my story, but anyway, that took some time to gather the courage and to understand my purpose again. So God reminded me of my purpose.
Wow. Now, Emelda, and I don't even know the reaction that I have, to what you've shared, and the intensity of what you must have been through. So you mentioned in the past tense about the things that you went through, and then, you got up. But there was this pressure, I can imagine, that, oh my goodness, I'm a global public figure, right? I am a
Yeah.
leader. You kept on saying, I'm a leader. How am I going to ever empower women? What do I have to say to them if, my world is falling apart? And yet we're talking about you and the launch and the successful launch of Pivoting Heels. We're talking about you soon to publish, Finding My Voice. We're talking about all the incredible things that you're doing. You're currently in the US, and just a lot of things are in store for you. Now, sometimes we can speak because it's our lives. We can speak in leaps, right? It was this, and then fast forward, boop, this next thing happened, fast forward. And sometimes somebody else who's listening to you, let's say there's a leader listening to you right now, and they've faced setbacks. And they're thinking, how on earth do I get the courage to get back up? How do I get the courage to face my circumstances and not give up? Could you script the steps? Okay, so first thing, I heard you say you prayed, right? And God reminded you who you are. And he even charged you rather than just helping you heal. He charged you to then take your pain and go help other people. If somebody's going through a setback, if somebody's going through a crisis, what steps can you recommend for them to take to bring their dream back to reality and to get themselves back up?
First of all, I want to remind people that the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. Every person in this world has a dream. So I would like to tell the leaders, the women especially, people that don't look at yourself and think you have a very small dream. There's no dream that is small. Even if you dream to make pancakes, that can be a next big chain of, you know, um, markets that you make the best pancakes in the country or in the world, So first you need to take courage and understand the purpose that God has made you for. When you feel you've been defeated by one way or the other, but you still somehow remember, and through the prayers, through finding yourself, um, some people sometimes they use shrinks. You sometimes you need to go for a psychologist to talk to you and to show you this the person that it's more likely to be reminded of the person you are or you have been or you were. Now you can connect the dots to go forward. So the steps really, first of all, you have to dream big. Regardless whatever dream you have, make it big so that it scares you. And then you need to visualize your goals. Let me give you a talk for my example. Um, Here I had dreams, I had everything, but I felt defeated. I felt like I'm done. And now I had to find myself. So finding yourself is the best first step. Finding yourself, understanding who you are, being reminded who you are and the capabilities, the strength, the superpowers that you have. You need to know them first. So some people would go to church, some people would go to psychologists or counselors, some people would do yoga or do whatever that makes your mind think with your inner person to remind you who you are. And then take that dream that you have because it's there. Take that dream and scale it as big as it can be. For me, when I was doing the pivoting and heal, I said, I want this book to be signed by the president, to have a forward word by our president. I didn't know. I never been to the state house. I didn't know how do I get there. But I told myself this is gonna be done this way. I believed in it. I prayed about it, and God showed me the way. So it was possible because I believed. So your other step is to believe in your dream. You have to believe it, and you have to visualize your goals. You know, um, you have to be organized. You plan. This is I want to be done by this time, and these are steps that make me achieve my dream this way. This way. So you need to have a diary really and put down your steps to put your goals, your strategy behind your goals, and and you need to make the plan that it has to come from just a dream to be a reality. That means you have to put steps. I have to do 1, 2, 3 today, tomorrow. You have to put steps towards realizing your dreams. And then you have to stay organized. I mean, you have to be committed to what you say you want to do. When you sleep, you think of tomorrow, what's going to be done. When you wake up, you think, okay, now what am I going to do to make my dream come true? And don't be discouraged by small setbacks. So for me, it took me some time. Then I realized my marriage setback was actually a very small thing. It wasn't the bigger picture. So I have a bigger picture, which is my purpose, my dreams. And when I realized that was just a small setback, then I was okay to move on with my life.
Oh, Emelda, just wait. Hold a minute. Now, you've been, speaking to women leaders, right? And you understand with society and culture just how much women take marriage to be part of their identity, right?
Oh,
So,
wow.
so when you say, listen, when I realized that when my marriage fell apart, that was just a small setback compared to the purpose that God has put in my life, compared to the vision I have for what I need to accomplish. That is a whole other mindset. Because somebody else feels like that's it. That's my entire identity and belonging and value is wrapped up in my marriage.
Right.
That's profound. How do you even get to a point where you're able to remove that? Because I do have conversations with women, having gone through challenges of my own, to say that what I come to realize sometimes is, wait a second, this God, he still has a vision and a purpose for my life that is not wrapped up only in being a wife and being a mother. There is a person. Yes, I happen to be female. Yes, I happen to be a woman who is married, and I happen to be a mother. But there is a person above the roles that I play. And that person is actually a solution that comes into this generation to do something very specific that only that person can do. And so I came to a point where I had to learn to separate and to nurture that person, to help that person, like you were talking about, make sure that you have the mental and emotional health and resilience. Make sure that you protect your heart, right? Not protect your heart, but guard your heart, as the Bible says, so that you can last. So that you can be that person that's carrying God's purpose on the earth. Otherwise, you'll get consumed. So imagine now I had to see Modesta step outside of everything she's been and start stewarding Modesta as a calling, like a person who's apart from myself. Realizing that I may play different roles, but above all else, I represent a purpose and a vision God has for the world in the time that we live in.
And that's when you realize that, then nothing will stop you. The devil plays tricks in people's minds. And because you are the giant person, you are the person who carries amazing dreams, the devil will try to throw you things in your way. Be it your child, maybe some people are struggling because they have the children who are abusing, drugs and stuff, and then they forget their bigger purpose that they're supposed to do, and they started struggling with, finding solutions. And of course, it is important as a parent to take care of your children, but sometimes let us not forget what God called us for, because that's what God will ask you at the end of the day. Have you achieved what I wanted you to do in this world? So it took me some time. It wasn't something that easy that came fast. I think for me, I did my enough pity party, but the wake up call came, and I realized that there's a goal. And that's to me, that was my healing point.
Wow. But like you said, it wasn't like it came overnight, right? You had your pity party, you had your questions like, oh, what would the public think? What would people think? And then you came to, I wasn't even going to call it realization, maybe a revelation that, wait a second, this is only a bump in the road, you know? I know the plans that I have for you, plans to prosper, not harm you, plans to give you hope in the future. Those plans stay in place. One of the things that I absolutely love about God sometimes when you're going through setbacks is to remember He's seen your end from the beginning. So He knows all the details of your life. And if he was, if he ever thought, wait a second, this person's gonna go mess it up for me, then you probably wouldn't even arrive here, and you'd have no court to go and and try to seek help from. So it means he saw all of these things and factored in all these things and still called you to what you're doing. As a matter of fact, what you've been going through is exactly what qualifies you to help others through the same thing.
Exactly. And I definitely remember that discussion I had with God.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have to stand up. You have to help others. And I told God, how can I? I failed mine, and God still He with all this weakness and failing and everything, but still God sees you as a leader. You can stand up and you can do things. You can help others. And who are we to 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 know better about our lives if not God? So yes, I want to remind people that your dreams are waiting for you. You know, sometimes you could have a dream and somehow, somewhere, you lose your dream, but don't think that the dream is gone. The dream still sits there waiting for you. What you seek is seeking you. All you have to do is to follow the lead, and it will guide you to your destiny. That's all. Just say, God, I'm ready. It's okay. It's okay when people think I'm a failure. It's okay when I come from a broken marriage. It's okay, but God, show me the way. Lead me, God, and God will show you the right steps to your destiny. Modesta, I cannot stress enough that I have seen God's hand because, like recently, I got an invitation to come to attend a program, 10,000 women by Goldman Sachs, and 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 we met people from IFM. I sat in the tables with the biggest people, the decision makers from International Monetary Fund to Goldman Sachs to I don't people from the State House. It's just, if it's not God, then who is it? And I sat on the table discussion talking about being a pay forward, helping other women. How can they help us to be help to others and things like that? Then I understand that God has a bigger plan for me. In Tanzania, I'm the only person that came. There were 15 people from across the globe. Tanzania, I'm only one representing. So I understand it's when I said, God, I surrender. Use me. I'm your vessel. I am ready now. And God starts taking you to greater heights.
It really encapsulates, Romans 8:28, and we know that God works, we know that all things work together for the good of those that love God and that are called, according to His purpose. Like somehow He will use everything. The world will tell you, right? You were saying the enemy will tell you, hide this, ooh, shame, ooh, right? But God is like, no, 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 no. Bring it to the surface. Bring it to the surface. I'll heal you. Bring it to the surface. You will encourage other people. You will empower and heal other people who've gone through similar things. And they too will, this is what I'm hearing from you. Like, nothing is wasted. Your pain is not wasted. Your dreams are still valid. You are still the person. You're still the chosen one. Nothing in life could happen to take that away from you. Only if you give up.
Only if you give up. Yeah.
Emelda, now that you're back with a bang, what is your next step?
So, as you know, bang is my baby. Believe and never give up. So again, it from the get go. I founded Bang in 2004, and our tagline was "Believe and never give up." And so many times, you fail, you stand again, and we are reminded that you have to believe and never give up. Your dream has to go on. So yes, now with the fourth industrial revolution, everybody's talking digital. We want now to have Bang TV and creating content where the whole world can access our content. We need to have a app. We need to have YouTube channel that can create all our content we do in print magazine. We now make videos on them and people can see. So I'm looking forward to now start working with young people, young talented people, and we can create the content. We can make videos, nice videos, but most of all, Bang is a platform that empowers, inspire women. I want women to follow us. I want to tell as many stories as possible. I want people to recognize the success of many women are doing, and they're doing big things, and not so many people know. So we want to capture these stories and highlight them because they inspire somebody else.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. And I want to be part of the movement. So let's say somebody else is listening, other women leaders listening, or even, male leaders who are thinking, oh, I need to share this with colleagues. I need to share this, with family. Where do we find you? How do we get in touch with you?
Okay, I'm going to give you all my social media handles. You have them so people can follow me on my social media platform, but my email address I'll share with you. I am based in Tanzania, but I'm always in the US, in Tanzania, and it's gonna be like that, you know. But you can have my email, my social media handles, and you can reach it.
Perfect. So we'll make sure to put them in the description to this episode, and just 360 leadership community. Make sure to reach out to Emelda, but more than that, please follow so that you can see of all the incredible things she is going to be up to as she builds this dynasty, this great network that is Bang, believe and never give up. Emelda, it's been my honor. I am in awe of you. For those that do not know, I'm going to say this on this podcast. I had been hustling, working, producing excellence, doing my utmost as a management consultant, as a speaker, as an influencer in my little microcosm of an ecosystem. And then one day, Emelda invites me to her Dare to Dream event where I get to speak on this platform. Next thing, some U.S. Embassy officials see me. She recommends me to attend the Fortune Most Powerful Women program with the U.S. State Department of Vital Voices. And let me let you know, the rest was history. I had been doing the very same things with as much zeal and passion and excellence before Dare to Dream. But after Emelda made that recommendation, not only did it open global doors for me, but all of a sudden it opened doors at every level in Tanzania as well. So Emelda is the single human being that God used on this earth to absolutely change my life. I was able to pivot upwards because of her. Emelda, I'm going to sing that, praise that. Thank you and your God for the rest of my life. Thank you so much for joining me on the Modesta Mahiga 360 Leadership Podcast, Emelda.
Thank you so much. I can't thank you enough, Modesta. You are one human being that, wow, I can't say it. But anybody, the first step, it wasn't hard, Modesta. You open your mouth and people can connect and see the value that you have. You are amazing. And thank you. Thank you for continuing to do a great job. I'm so happy to know you.
Thank you, Emelda. Thank you. And I know that's genuinely from your heart. And that's just what I love. Oh, you have to, this is why people have to follow you on YouTube, and they need to see your smile. They need to see when you open your mouth and smile, and they need to see you laugh. You truly are an authentic leader that empathizes with others, that wants the best for others. And I pray that the Lord ever glorifies himself in and through you, Emelda.
Thank you, Modesta.
You're welcome. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our podcast and share this episode to add value and to encourage another leader. Remember, you can only lead others as well as you lead yourself. If you'd like to learn more about how we can support you with your leadership development, connect with us on www.modestamahiga.com. Until the next episode, this is the Modesta Mahiga 360 Leadership Podcast.